Hey guys, it's Kate back from K9, and we are going to go over how to introduce your dog to the prong collar on the walk. So this will start to shape the prong collar heel. But the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you just get started with your dog of introducing the tool in an outside space. So you're going to see me do that today. First things first, let's go over the setup of what the collar, leash, and everything should look like and be on your dog. Most often we use a 2.25 millimeter Hermspringer prong collar. We always have a safety on our prong collar. That's if the prong collar for some reason pops off. You have this hooked to either your dog's flat buckle collar or we hook it to our e-collar. And then the leash is always going to be hooked to what we call the swivel D-ring. The setup is important because if you don't have this put on properly, fitted properly, there's no use in utilizing a tool. So a lot of times when the prong collar gets a bad rap, unfortunately, it's typically because it's not fitted properly, it's not a good brand, it's just nothing, the stars are not aligning to make this a successful situation for the human and the dog. So you always want to make sure the prong collar is nice and high up on the dog's neck, relatively snug, but obviously not too snug where you can't get a couple fingers underneath. So we always have it up at the top. Then we personally put our prong collar above the e-collar. So the e-collar will kind of sit right underneath it. And then again, hooking the safety onto either your e-collar or your flat buckle collar. Okay, so the setup again is prong collar up on the dog's neck, flat buckle or e-collar underneath, hooking that safety onto that bottom collar, and then hooking your leash. I'm going to start with a 6-foot leash, just standard leash. Is going to be on your swivel D-ring. Okay, so setup is super important. Make sure that's all right first before you get to work. Okay, I want to talk through a few things right off the bat. If this is your first time ever utilizing a prong collar on your dog, or maybe it's the first time you've utilized an actual collar in a while, maybe you've been utilizing a harness or something like that, I want you to keep in mind that your dog might go through some theatrics through the process. I don't want you to think that you're just going to put this tool on, it's going to be an immediate cakewalk and be perfect. I've had some dogs totally lose their mind. Alligator rolling, coming up the leash, even if I'm extremely gentle. Then I've had some where it's like they've been doing it their whole life. So just make sure that you consider this is a learning curve for both you and your dog. And we're looking for progress over perfection. And I really want to encourage you to work through some of the theatrics, anything that seems a little bit challenging. Don't stop, keep working through it. Give your dog the clear direction by following kind of these steps that I'm going to go through with you. So again, just know that every single dog responds a little bit differently. So if your dog acts completely crazy or like they've been doing this their whole life, both are normal. Okay, we're about to get started, and I want to preface this by saying I have done 0 prong collar work with Miss Lena thus far. I will say I have done follow work with her. So there's a reason she's sitting here being respectful. We've done foundational work with her on her slip lead and e-collar work. So I do encourage you to maybe do some stuff with your dog inside first. So the same kind of process I'm going to do outside with Lena, you can do the same thing inside. So again, she is not foreign to moving with me. We have a nice relationship started. This is just going to be layering a new tool on top of what we're doing. And it should be kind of the same process for you and your dog. But again, your dog might be a little bit more crazy than what Miss Lena is being right now, and that's okay. It's totally normal. You can apply the same thing. All I'm going to do is start moving with her. I'm not even going to say anything. If she doesn't move with me, I'll just say, let's go. But you're going to notice I'm not saying heel. I'm not saying really any commands at this point. I'm just going to start introducing the prong collar pressure, and you'll see when I'm doing it. So let's go. Good job. Good. 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 Turning into her right now, no pressure. Sometimes you're going to have to set up a situation, so that's what I'm working on right now. Anytime you see the pressure go on, pressure on, pressure off. Pressure on, pressure off. Good. Pressure on, pressure off. Good. No pressure. Good. Side step, pressure on, pressure off. Good. Sit, pressure on, pressure off. Let's go. Little bump. Good. 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 Shh. Good. Sit. Good. Good. Let's go. Good. Good. Sit. Good. Notice how I'm pretty clear about putting the pressure on. Even though she's being extremely well behaved, I'm still applying the pressure to give that information to layer over the movement I want towards my body. So it's very clear, pressure went on, tush hits the ground, pressure comes off. Pressure goes on as she starts kind of getting away from me. As she heads towards me, pressure comes off. Same thing with your dog. If your dog is acting a little bit more crazy, your little popping action might need to just be a little bit stronger. So let's keep doing this. Lena, good. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Good. 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 Pressure on. Good. I haven't started calling this heel yet, but you can see I'm starting to shape it as that. Good. I do a little bit of a pop, pop, pop action. Good. Sit. Good. Notice how right there I did a little bit more of a faster pop release. Good. I want to practice that movement with a dog in a more controlled setting before I even go out in public, because if the first time your dog feels a little bit of a firmer pop out in public, when their adrenaline's a little bit higher, you might get a vocalization. I don't want that to totally freak you out, but I like to kind of practice a tad bit of a stronger pop release in a controlled setting just to see how the dog responds to it. I'm going to try to work to get her to make some mistakes now so that I can give you a better idea of how I'm going to implement that. So if she goes to pop out of command right now, you'll see me. Good. You're so smart. Oh, you're so smart. No. Sit. Good. So right there, popped out of command when I baby talked her, said no, pressure a little pop, release. Good. Break. Good. I'm going to start labeling this heel. What I'm going to do is say the command, then give guidance. It's going to start to shape that as her new command word. Heel, good. Release pressure, mark with good when she gets into position. Heel, good. Heel, good. Just really naturally move with the dog as well. Don't feel like you always have to be like this. Heel, good. Shh. Heel. Good. Good girl. Good. Sit. Good. She's doing awesome. So again, what I want you to think about is pressure on, pressure off as the dog heads your way. This is a really great example of a dog who I can be extremely soft on the prong collar with. She's just really doing awesome of yielding to my pressure, and she's got a clear understanding of what this means, good, from the information I'm giving her and the feedback. So again, think about moving within a controlled setting. Don't feel like you have to go on a super long walk to start. Just work with your dog on like 180 turns, heading down, pressure towards you, good, good. Turn, pressure on, good. Sit. I'd rather you work on turns first and get that established versus like heel and your dog doesn't know what you're doing. They have no idea what you're trying to tell them. You're just walking, and then you're like, no, heel. Really think about giving clear sit communication through your body language, leash pressure, and your verbal markers, good, through this process. Okay, I'm going to go grab another dog that maybe will give us a little bit more spitfire to him. So stay tuned. All right, guys, up next is Mr. Lynx. He is naturally a little bit more of a sassy guy. He does love to work, and he's naturally kind of in that follower mode, but I do think he'll give a little bit more attitude with the actual pressure put on the collar. So I'll just talk you guys through what I'm gonna do if that starts to happen, because even with the slip lead, we have seen him try to kind of go up the leash a little bit. If like he wants to go in a certain direction that Lynx wants to go, he'll be like, well, let me try biting the leash. So I'm hoping he'll give us a little bit more to work with, because I know you guys are gonna have situations at home where it's like, my dog's coming up the leash, my dog's alligator rolling. I don't think he's gonna alligator roll, but I do think he'll be a little bit sassier. So let's see what he gives us. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna start moving, and I'll start introducing that pressure once we get going. Again, to preface this, I have never worked with him on the prong collar thus far. We've been doing all slip lead work. So this will be brand new for the both of us together. Good. 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 Sit. Good. Let's go. Shh. Good. Good. Shh. For that head shaking, I did a little shh and pop with the prong. Good. If the head shaking is something that your dogs do here and there, I'm not worried about, but I know his tendencies, that's a deviation for him. So if it's constant, interrupt that, okay? Let's go. Good. I'm gonna start labeling it heel because he knows heel. Heel. Good. Heel. Good. Sit. Good. Notice with him, I'm doing a little bit more of like a pop release with a tad bit more energy behind it. With Lena, I was much more like pop release. With Lynx, I'm a little bit more like pop release. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that difference. I can feel the difference because I know the energy and some of the intensity this dude can bring to the table. Again, super sweet guy, but likes things to be Lynx's way and is always kind of looking how to push the boundary a little bit, because he's extremely smart. He likes to work, but he also likes to do what Lynx wants to do. I know that about him, so I have to bring a little bit extra energy to it. Good. Heel. Shh. Good. Right there. Just give a little bit of extra pop of like, come on, dude, we got this. Good. Heel. Good. Heel. Good. Pop, 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 pop action. Pop, 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 pop. Good. Heel. Good. Timing is verbal pressure. Good. Verbal pressure marker. Heel. Good. Let's do that again. Heel. Good. Very good, buddy. You're not even being sassy. I'm surprised. Good. Break. I'm going to break him, release him out of command, let him sniff around a little bit, and then kind of add it back in. So if you're noticing your dog's just doing awesome, give him a quick break. Let them sniff around, and then we'll utilize leash pressure to get him back with me. So we'll give him a second, let him mark if he wants to, and then I'll tell you when I'm going to put pressure back on. I want him to be slightly disengaged, which he is right now, but I'm going to give him an opportunity to do his stuff. Okay, buddy. Lynx. Good. Pressure on, pressure off. Good. Heel. Good. Sit. Good. Heel. Right there you'll see I released too soon. That's important. I thought he was going to sit quicker, so I released. So sit. Good. Right there I did a better job with my timing, because typically he does sit right away. Good. So I assumed he was going to. Perfect example. Wait till the dog hits the tush on the ground, then release. So I'm glad that I did that, because again, you're going to make errors. So just set up that same situation and do it again. Heel. Good. Heel. Good. Good. Let's go to a threshold and let's see if he's going to disrespect that boundary we've already set with him. And if he does, I'll show you kind of what that little pop action would look like. I'm going to ask for a sit here. Sit. Good. I'm going to let him make the mistake if he wants to. Good. I'm going to step in. No. Sit. Good. Right there. He went to go step in. No. Pop. Release. Sit. Good. Break. Good boy.